Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay Lee. This is JLeesCorner. This is my review for the Wendy Williams, the movie review. Okay, it came on tonight. I have not watched the documentary yet that came on after, because that's another 2 hours and I ain't got time. I got other reviews to do, but I'll have that up sometime tomorrow evening or whatnot. Okay, but first things first, if you have not done so already, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel and become a whole JayBird, dun, and all that goodness and stuff. Okay, do not forget to also like this video, comments in the comment section, hit that share button to share it on your social media. You can also follow me on IG and Twitter at J_Lees_Corner. The link to all of my social media is in the description box below, as well as the link to my Teespring. Don't forget about that. Okay, and you can also remember to relax, to relate, to release, to center yourself and everyone around you. Okay, the microphone was so close. You can also remember, inhale and exhale, because sometimes we just forget to breathe and whatnot. Okay, this 2-hour movie, it was good. The acting was really good. The wigs were amazing. The fashion was amazing. The things I did not know was shocking. I'm like, Salt and Pepper should be ashamed of themselves, because they could never, okay? So let's just get into the looks of it all. Now, I want to remind y'all what Wendy Williams used to look like back in the day, okay? Because a lot of folk forget she's had some work done here and there. You know, she's gotten older, you know, things change or whatever. You know, the wig she has now was much better than what they used to be. So yeah, I couldn't get the early clear photos of her like in the late 80s. So this was the best I could do, okay? But, you know, that's fine. And the actress we had playing her, okay, who also plays on The Oval, she did an amazing job, okay? She really did embody Wendy in her antics, in her voice, in her cadence. Really, she wasn't a caricature of Wendy. She was not a knockoff Wendy. She was a version of Wendy that matched who Wendy was in real life. I seen people say, oh, they picked a cute version of Wendy. Wendy was that bitch back in the day. You know what I'm saying? People need to not look at how people look now in their, you know, mid-50s or whatever. Say, oh, who could she used to be that, she still is that bitch, truth be told. Oh, Sierra Payton played Wendy Williams. Morocco Amari played Kevin, and even he did really well. I like how over the time of the movie her looks changed, how she acted changed. You know, it was a good flow of it all or whatever. Okay, now the one person in this whole thing that I'm like, I could not believe that's who they got to play him, Charlemagne the God. Okay, that is who they put in here to play Charlemagne. And it's funny, I'm gonna try to find a picture of him in real life. Okay, so this was Charlemagne back in the Wendy Williams days. Okay, now while he do favor, but something about him looks a bit older than Charlemagne was, or he looked like a teenage mutant Ninja turtle of a human. Either way, I'm like, that's not really Charlemagne, but I get where they were going. But it's still a funny casting of that man or whatnot. Okay, girl, Charlemagne and Wendy was a mess back in the day when they had a little VH1 show, honey. Anyway, so yeah, those were the main, you know, people who I want to show off for their pictures and whatnot. Okay, so we skip from like her as a 11-year-old kid to her like out of college. It's in 87 or whatever. Now she's working at a radio station in DC, and to be thin, she was doing coke. Okay, she did not want to keep doing these diets or whatever. I'm just do cocaine. I was like, I mean, I don't think that's the cure to anybody ever losing weight. But I mean, she said, but it helped her suppress her appetite. So she, at this point, is a cokehead or whatever. I'm like, Lord. Now we see her interviewing an artist named Ricky Tony, okay, who has a song called Make You Feel It. I didn't Google any of this stuff. I don't know if it's actually that man's real name, but she brought up how this scene would play out in the movie or whatever. Now, he was, a popular artist of that song at the time, and he invited her to a party, and she was, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, like fresh out, like she was young and impressionable, okay? Young and impressionable, new DJ, and who just moved to Washington or whatever from New York, and so something different though, but not, okay? And when he invited her to the party, he then said, I gotta go to my hotel first and change clothes. I gotta go change. Oh, should I go and change too? He was like, nah, you okay. Went to the hotel with him. He was taking a shower. He came out the bathroom with just a towel on, and then just proceeded to take his towel off and just insisted himself upon her. And even though she keeps saying like, oh no, that's okay, like, you know what I'm saying, hold on, no, you know what I'm saying, he insists himself upon her, and she just stays silent and just lays there, but she looks devastated the whole time. And to me, it was a vision of what people go through when someone insists themselves upon people, how you just freeze and you look like you not with this, and they ignore it and just keep doing what they doing or whatever. And then he finishes and just says, you know what I'm saying, okay, you can let yourself out. He like walks away and goes to get in the shower. She like leaves without saying a word, like, she's crying. She brings up how it was the last time that she would allow anyone to tell her to be quiet, but she doesn't tell anyone, as we in the scene as we see about it. She just tries to deal with it on her own, and she starts smoking crack. Like, she just had cocaine that she just, she made this with crack or whatever, and was getting high and partying. I'm like, girl. I was like, okay. Anyway, she gets a part-time job in the station, because she's like, I have to leave Washington. I have to go. I can't be here, whatever. And she's driving back and forth between both jobs or whatever, while still doing coke, to keep her, I'm like, she was really on drugs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the New York station then offers her a full-time job, and then the other station is like, all right, bitch, bye. Like, they didn't like her. They was really mean and rude to her or whatever. And it made it seem as if when she started there, she had on like really nice clothes, nice shoes, and for that reason they didn't like her. The women didn't know whatever, and so they were just mean to her or whatever. So they was like, all right, bitch, bye. We don't care. So, she is now working in New York for 2 years or whatever, but she then gets fired. Okay, she's like, I don't know why I was fired, but she got fired nonetheless. And so we then see, it's like 2 weeks later, she's like, I've never been unemployed for more than 2 weeks. So like 2 weeks go by, and she's been sitting at a station of her favorite person, Carol Ford at Kiss FM, and she just sits in the lobby, just hoping to catch the program director or catch anyone who will allow her like a chance to be on the radio. And then one day when Carol Ford isn't there, and whoever Carol Ford cover person isn't there either, the dude said, okay, you've been sitting there for 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, come on for this one day and do a show, whatever, okay? And then when she was on air, she did the whole little gospel thing, gospel about Milli Vanilli, which he then brings, but we don't do that here. Like, that's not what we do. I know, but you should. And this shows how people liked what she did. They gave her a chance, and it kind of took off, whatever. So again, now the radio loves her for it. The fans love her. It's a good thing. Boom, pow, pow. Okay. We then see that she's dating, because she didn't met, and she's kind of messing around with Eric B of Eric B and Rakim. I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, banging it. Girl getting good dick or whatever. Okay. Anyway, he borrowed her car, brought it back late, made her late for work. So she then rented him a car, because at that point in time, he was broke. I'm like, girl, telling all that man business. He had no money. Anyway, but he was supposed to take the car back. He never did until the police or the people called, like, look, if this car don't be returned, we're going to sue you. We're going to come and arrest your ass for stealing a rented car. So he brings her the car back after all the time or whatever, because she didn't know he didn't turn it back. She did not know he did not take it back. And when he come back, she's pissed and they break up. Boom, pow, 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 they're done. Now, because that happened, she then find out she pregnant. And she secretly goes by herself and has an abortion. I'm like, okay. We then skip ahead. It's now 1994, and this is when she meets Kevin. So Wendy meets Kevin, okay? Now the actor, okay, who plays Kevin, I'm going to say this. You know, he's played in different things. He also plays on P-Valley. He's played in other things too that I've seen him in. He played the hell out of this role. Like, he made me like him in the beginning. And when he was interviewing on, I think it was on Wendy's thing, and it was also on Breakfast Club, he said he had to bring a part of the role to show people why they fell in love in the first place. Like, people think of what happened recently and they forget they've been together for like 20 years. Again, something happened in the beginning to make them, you know, be a couple or whatever. I liked him, right? I'm like, oh, see, this is this is my type. Okay, anyway. So again, they meet at the club one night or whatever. He, you know, seen her and liked her. Because again, Wendy Williams was that bitch, okay? He sends someone over to give her, he sends his friend over, gets his friend a little matchbook or whatever with his number, who gives it to Wendy. She forget, oh, whatever. But she finds it, you know, later on, and she calls him. And so at this point in time, she's like, you know, he's a thug who lets his guard down around me, whatever. He has a heart of gold, and I fell in love. So again, in the beginning, it was a whole little love story, okay? It was a love song between the two of them, and I think it was really, really cute for them to show that. And she brings up how they had an amazing sex life, okay? And then she also tells him about they're dating or whatever, and she brings up how, you know, she was a fat kid or whatever. Her parents always reminded her that her parents always reminded her that she was fat, and for that reason, she now wants to have lipo and a boob job. Now, this is the Wendy who wasn't as skinny as we see her now. Back then, she had a little bit of meat on her bones or whatever, and so I'm assuming that's why she wanted lipo, and she just wanted bigger boobs or whatever. And so she had the bigger boobs and the lipo. Now, even though he told her, like, you know, you're beautiful, you don't need that or whatever, but I will be with you, I will support you no matter what or whatever. I got you, okay? I got you. So I think the point of all of that was to show how much Kevin really had been there for her in the beginning. Again, they're showing the love story of Kevin and Wendy, and make no jokes about it, this do seems to be a love story, even though it later on turned into some bullshit. Okay, now we do see, girl, so Wendy's on the radio, working up whatever, and you know, she's gossiping about people. She was in the bathroom one night doing coke, and some people noticed she was in the bathroom, whatever. Wendy, hey girl, so my friends know somebody with Total whatever, and Total not getting paid by Puff Planet, like the whole thing with Puff don't pay his artists or whatever. And so she went on the radio and called Total broke. So Total gets upset, honey. Total comes to the radio station, honey. I'm like, first of all, why are they dressed for a video? Why are they, can't you see what you do to me? Our love was meant to. I'm like, they are dressed for a video shoot, okay? All up and through whatever. She come outside, like, what is going on? Like, why is people outside? And she then see, oh, Total is outside waiting to beat me up. Right. Kevin then pull up. And when Kevin pulls up, he like, you know, get out of here. I'm like, who wants some? Who want to fight? Who wants some with me? Or whatever. Of course, Total leaves or whatever. He's like, oh, I got you, girl. Come on, Wendy. Come on, let's go. And they kiss and hug or whatever. I'm like, oh, Well, that's cute. So now Kevin and Wendy are engaged. They engaged or whatever. They in love. Oh, so in love or whatever. And so at this point in time, she's still on the radio, talking about all the dirt of everyone or whatever. Okay. And so the radio is getting pressured by Puffy, okay, because she's saying on her show that supposedly somebody in the music industry, you know what I'm saying, is gay and undercover, and that was a rumor that was out back in the day. And he also, not he, but because she also said about him that he was stiff in his artist or whatever, Puff is now pissed. So Puffy is now calling radio honchos or whatever, like, I need her pulled from the show, okay? You can't be having her talking all this shit, because at that point in time, think about it, Puff has major artists on the radio. So again, he had enough pull for them to say, Wendy, we have to pull you off air. We can't fire you. And because she's under contract, so because she's under contract, they can't fire her. They have to still pay her, but they don't have to have her on the radio, and she can't go to any other station in New York. So what does she do? She go get a job in Philly. So now it's 1998, and she's working at a station in Philly because, again, they won't allow her to work in New York. Boom, pow, pow. She also found out that she's pregnant, okay? So she's happy. Kevin's happy. They're pregnant or whatever. But she miscarries. 7 weeks pregnant, she miscarries, okay? But she gets pregnant again. And she loses this baby at 5 months. That's the second pregnancy. She then gets pregnant again. And, she's far along, like 5, 6, 7 months or whatever, pregnant, with a baby girl. And the baby's stillborn. I'm looking like, God damn. Okay, so it was like this one thing after the other. Like, it was like just a multitude of just, like, hit that would have broken anyone. Because if you lose one kid, 7 weeks, another one at 5 months, and then to carry one to almost a term, and then have a stillborn, like, that is traumatic, okay? At that point in time, again, Kevin's still with her each step of the way. I mean, he was a supportive husband at that point in time. And so they went and got married because she said Kevin felt like maybe the reason they kept losing the babies was because God wanted them to be husband and wife. So boom, they get married. Now the funny part is she did not even mention, but she did not show anything about her first husband. She's like, that wasn't even worth mentioning or whatever. Boom, pow, pow. So her and Kevin get married. She gets a new doctor. Okay, she's like, doctor, why do my babies keep dying? And he like, well, you have a weak cervix. And because of that, when you're pregnant, when you are standing up, your cervix can't hold the weight of the baby. And so that's why at a certain point in time, you lose the baby. She's like, so I just have to lay down? He was like, yes. So at that point, she's relieved because, like, okay, I know the reason that shit is going wrong. So she gets pregnant again. And they're happy. And so she works from home the whole pregnancy, like radio from home, all that stuff. She gained over 100 pounds. She's like, I never stood up for more than 5 minutes because, again, they knew and she just talked about this over the years about how hard that pregnancy was because, again, she was bedridden for 9 months because, again, of her weak cervix or whatever. And Lil' Kevin was born in 2000. So, boom, pow. Okay. So the baby's born or whatever, they married or whatever, and she's up one night and catches him on the phone. Okay, on the phone with some girl or whatever, promising to give her some money, blah, blah, blah. Who the fuck was that, Kevin? And look, a girl I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying? But it's over. What the fuck? What? We have a new baby. Like, look, it's been hard for me, you know what I'm saying? We haven't had sex in a year, you know what I'm saying? We had all these miscarriages or whatever. All this stuff going on was hard on me too, and I needed some companionship. I'm looking like, okay. So Kevin started to not be shit around this time. And it's like, okay, let's play devil's advocate. Let's just say it was also hard on him. But why go and cheat on your wife? Cause man ain't shit. Now he said, I'm so sorry. I'm saying I won't do it again. I'm so sorry. I don't want to do it no more, whatever. Okay, and I'm like, whatever. We then see her following a girl who he was supposedly cheating with or whatever. I'm saying, and she confronts Kevin again with proof of him cheating or whatever. Like, you're so boring doing this shit, Kevin. He like, I'm boring. You have a coke habit. You know what I'm saying? You out here outing everyone in the entry or whatever. You know I'm happy to protect you. You know what I'm saying? You have, I'm not boring. You know what I'm saying? You're on this bush. I'm like, he's really flipping it as if you mad at me for cheating, but look what you put me. I'm looking like, didn't leave her. So, she's like, look, if you cheat on me again, Kevin, you know what I'm saying? You will lose me. And she took him back. I'm like, girl, why you do that? So even though she took him back, she admits, like, I don't love him the same or whatever, because he's been cheating. So she goes to her doctor, like, look, my husband has been cheating on me or whatever. I want a full STD test. I want to get a 10-year, IUD. Like, I don't want to have any more kids. I don't, my body can't handle more kids or whatever. Not that I don't want to be out here, you know what I'm saying, getting burnt or whatnot. Well, maybe you and, she like, fuck what you, fuck all that. I don't need to talk to anybody. Do what I said. Nah, okay, boom. So she then, like, you know what, I have to get us up out of Philly. We need to get back to New York. And she reaches out to whoever to get a job back on the radio in New York. And that happens. We then so that she gets back on the radio in New York. She writes a book. And in the book she brings up his cheating or whatever. The book is the best. So she's doing really, really good or whatever. Okay, we then see when he meets Sharina. And he's kind of introduced to Sharina through Charlemagne. Because allegedly Sharina wanted to do like modeling or whatever. And at that time, I guess, girl, it was weird. I don't know. But anyway, Wendy like see them like talking one night. And she's like, Charlemagne, who is that girl? And he's like, oh, that's Sharina, whatever. Is he fucking her? And he was like, he don't really respond. But, she like, I have an idea, something going on or whatnot. So then later on, like, the phone keep ringing. And Kevin keeps ignoring it. Answer the phone, Kevin. Answer the phone, Kevin. He answered or whatever. It wasn't the girl. It was actually Debmar Mercury, the station who, does the show now or whatever. And he like, yeah, they've been calling me, but I have been ignoring them. Mainly because it's like people have been calling and want to book her for like panel type show, but he like, I don't want you to do that. Anyone who wants you, it has to be your own show. And if they can't do that, then fuck them or whatever. I say, well, at least he had a point. Like he had, there was a method to his badness in the beginning when he was managing her, but he still wasn't shit. Okay, he still wasn't shit or whatever. Anyway, so she got her own show. Boom. Now we see in the beginning, like, no one wanted to come on her show because at that point in time she was messy as Wendy. So she's like, I'm gonna do hot topics. I'm saying I'll do hot topics or whatever. I'll make my show how I was on the radio. And she still kind of does that because even now she rarely has guests. But the show was still successful. Like, she don't really need, she needs some guests or whatnot. I'm saying, but there's enough going on to where she has her show and don't worry about the bullshit of it or whatever. We then see it's like, now it's 2016, okay? Now 2016, and Kevin's getting more and more sloppy with his cheating or whatever, okay? And I'm like, what is he doing or whatever? And we also see the negativity, the toxicness or whatever, and their marriage is just bad. And it's spilling over into the work. So, like, they're at the office or whatever. He ain't there. He late. And when he comes in, he, like, slams something on the table. And he's just, like, mean and rude and angry. And, like, the staff is looking like, oh, shit. Like, you can tell the staff is also being treated badly. And this is because of their bullshit and whatnot. Okay? So, it's a bad thing going on there, too. But, again, we see past that or whatever. And someone who knows Kevin comes by the studio, whatever, and Wendy sees him and talks to him, whatever, he's like, okay, so where's Kevin? Is he even in LA? He's like, no, he's in like Mexico with, Nikki. Who the fuck is Nikki? Who's Nikki? Nikki was the nickname of Sharina. He like, well, no, Sharina, she goes by Nikki or whatever, they eat. What? Are you serious? So are they hanging out at the house over in the little condo, whatever? He's like, no, like, he got a house in Jersey, not too far from your house, and they live there. And I was like, bitch. She's like, what? Where's the address or whatever? So she goes to the house or whatever, because they're out of town or whatever. So she's like, they're not there. And so she goes to the house with whoever, and she like glues the mailbox closed. She's like taking pictures from the window. Like, oh, I can't believe this shit. She's taking pictures from the window. She goes to the garage. She then spray paints the garage. Kevin and Wendy forever. Okay, bitch, for how long? Bitch, forever, okay? And till she goes home, Kevin finds out, because again, Kevin says, oh, this is my rental property. But she's like, oh, so you written it to that bitch? You fuck, I know what's going on or whatnot, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he come home, oh, it wasn't that bad, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't that bad. You tripping or whatever. She still stays with him. I should have left him. But my son's not, my son is still here, whatever. My son will be gone to college in 2 years. I can just wait until he's gone, and then it'll be all good. I'm like, Lord. So then she starts drinking, okay? And now she's drinking. I'm like, oh, shit. And that is when the legendary fall happens. When I say she nailed this fall, she nailed the whole thing. The stutter, the tumble down. She did an amazing job on this thing or whatever. And then because of the fall or whatever, because she's back drinking, but she's back drinking because Kevin is cheating on her and treating her like shit. Like, so there's a reason that she's drinking or whatever. Okay, so then Kevin, like, look, you need to go to rehab because the show worried about you, whatever. Everyone feels as if you're back on drugs. No, Kevin, that's not what's wrong. Wendy, go to, do it for your son. So she goes to rehab. It's in 2018 or whatever, she's in rehab. But when she's in the rehab, Kevin told them, like, don't give her no phone. She can't have access to social media, whatever. Like, keep her secluded from anything going on in the real world. She was in Florida. But she has one of the guys, like, sneak her a phone and, like, tap us or whatever. And she sees on the internet that the show is doing horribly with her being gone. But she then sees the pictures of Kevin and Sharina's pregnant. So at this point in time, it's like, oh, this is some bullshit. So like, okay, she calls whoever, like, look, I need to get out of here. I do not want to be, I think she calls this the show. I have to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I know I promised I will come there and do rehab, but I could not be here. I need to come back and save the show. So that's why, while she was still living and sober living, she also was doing the show to save the show. Okay, boom, pow, pow. But anyway, she also wanted to get her shit in order to divorce her husband. I'm looking like, So we do see her at the rehab or whatever, and she's going back and forth between the rehab, sober living thing and the work. And she had like people who would take her back and forth. But she wanted to get her divorce started. And the people drive her to and from would not take her to an appointment for the divorce or whatever. So she got the car and ran. I don't believe that happened in real life. I don't see Wendy Williams in New York running around the streets and no one saw shit. I think she had to get there, but she wasn't running away. Anyway, so again, she wants a divorce. And I don't like how she was at the sober living house or whatever. And Kevin is still allowed to come visit her because he is her medical person. But she's like, he's the one that's driving me to drink. I don't want him here. Oh, but he has to talk to you. I'm like, fuck. If y'all supposed to get her sober, she's saying he is making me sick. I do not want to see him. It pissed me off that they allowed him there to talk to her. But I'm going to leave that be, whatever. So she tells Kevin, like, basically, you're the reason I'm here. Like, you're the reason I am having these issues of me being, clean and sober or whatever. I work my ass off to pay for our lifestyle. I work my ass off so that you can buy the bitch who you can't afford to keep shit too. I don't like that neither. Anyway, She's like, oh, you here to tell me that you had a kid now? Is that what it is? He's like, yeah. So he's there to tell her the baby was born or whatnot, okay? And they're like, oh, what was it, Kevin? A girl, a boy? What was it? It was a girl. Oh, a girl. Your daughter. And she's like, I can't believe my husband is here talking to me and so relieved about his girl who he's got pregnant. I can't believe it or whatever. And for him, he like, just because I had a kid or whatever, we said just because that happened, that doesn't mean that you still don't have a problem. I'm like, he is still trying to flip it as if any of this is her fault. Girl, made me mad. And he making it seem as if he said, I helped you, I built this for us, I did this, and you want to just throw it all away? He just don't want a divorce. And she's like, you know what, whatever, because before you, I had me, okay? And no one can take my gifts from me, Kevin. No one, okay? You know what? You almost broke me. You almost broke me, but you failed. You failed. We are getting a divorce. The paperwork is on your desk, okay? And I put food on your table, but you will starve without me. I was like, bitch. He then walks away. And, you know, she is then seen at the office or whatever. Here's the picture. This is the picture. She is the picture here in the pink suit. And I feel like this is a staple Wendy look. And it's just her telling the staff that Kevin is gone. He will not have anything to do with the show. The show will be brand new. They're going to be good or whatever. And we see, you know what I'm saying, she's a happier person. She's dancing around or whatever. And that's basically how the movie ends. Overall, we then see her, the real Wendy, talking and is thanking people for, like, you know, rocking with her for all this time or whatever. And the movie was good. I liked the movie. It went really fast. It did. It could have been more than one part. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted to tell a longer story, but I don't think she wanted that. The actors did amazingly well. I feel like she was very, very honest. There were things she did not have to share that she shared. So I appreciate her doing that. Wendy is a messy bitch. I don't think anyone can take that away from her being a messy person as far as how she was back in the day. She was really the female Howard Stern with gossip or whatever. And I do think now she's a little less messy, that she's older and she's went through all this stuff or whatever. But I have always been a Wendy fan, even when she do messed up things and I call her out on it, but I have always admired her. So even now, seeing her backstory, it makes me admire her even more because she's been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? And to go through, you know, rape, your parents calling you fat your whole damn life, your husband consistently cheating on you and having a baby on you and moving the bitch in down the street, you know, multiple miscarriages, even how hard I know it had to be for her to be in that industry of the male dominated radio shit. Like, she's been through it, and it's like God knows what she did. If that's what she shared, think about what she didn't share. You know what I'm saying? So I commend her. I respect her. She made a lane for herself. And even though the way she did it was very unorthodox back in the day, it was very in your face, she is still Wendy the fucking Williams, okay? And that's what it was. I like the movie. I will look at the documentary later on and have that review up later. But other than that, I'm done. Peace.